Assalam'alaikum everyone. My main topic is gender-based violence and I'm gonna focus on LGBTQ rights. Starting off with gender and sex, gender is used to describe the characteristics of women and men that are socially constructed, while sex refers to those that are biologically determined. People are born female or male but learn to be girls and boys who grow into women and men. The best way to clear any confusion between gender and sex is that when a child is born, we usually ask, is it a boy or a girl? Here we want to know the sex determined at birth, but when we fix the colors blue for boys and pink for girls, we determine gender. Hard to remember? It's easy. Sex is biology and gender is identity. The spectrum of gender and sex goes far beyond the binary dichotomy of male and female. There comes in LGBTQ+. This acronym stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. So as you can see, the plus adds a few more. LGBTQ plus QIAAP. So it stands as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, queer, questioning, intersex, allies, asexual, pansexual. These terms are used to describe a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. What comes around in case of sexual orientation is a person's physical, emotional, or romantic attraction to another person, whereas how a person communicates through dress, behavior, voice, or body characteristics is their gender expression. But what should matter to us is that no matter a person is LGBT or Q, the fact wouldn't change that they're human, right? Now if they are human beings, they do so deserve equal human rights. Apart from the basic human rights, LGBTQ people require some other rights such as same-sex marriage, civil unions, domestic partnerships, LGBT parenting, adoption, voting, employment, election, etc. Laws are enforced differently in various countries and regions around the world in this regard. Countries like America, Canada, Australia, and many European countries legalized same-sex marriage, although it prevails in Bangladesh as a noteworthy crime under the Penal Code Section 377 and is completely illegal. There is a misconception in many of us that LGBT is a modern notion, but the LGBT movements dated back to 1960s and 70s clearly depict that this has been in the world since long. Even in the 20th century, the Stonewall Riots 1969 sparked the beginning of gay rights movement in America. As of today, LGBT rights movements are still trending in the lands of USA. In every rally or protest, the pride flags of LGBTQ flies with honor. Now coming back to Bangladesh, our beloved motherland faced LGBT movements in 2010s when the first attempt to legalize homosexuality was taken by publishing the magazine Rupban in 2014. This LGBT community organized Rainbow Rally, Pride Parades, drag show and transgender fashion show in 2014 and 15. But tragically, the founder of Rupban, Zulhaz Mannan, was killed in his apartment along with another LGBT activist, Mahbub Rabbi Tonoy, by Islamic extremists in 2016. Note that 4 among 8 of these murderers are in prison at present. Though Bangladesh government turned down legalization of homosexuality many a times when appealed for, third gender people were recognized on 11th November 2013. In the following years, third gender rights have been rarely provided by Bangladesh government. In the recent days, transgenders have been provided with education and employment as well, though by private initiative. Dawatul Quran in Dhaka is the first Trityolingo Madrasa, that is, third gender Islamic educational institution established in the early November of 2020. Bangladesh's first transgender TV anchor of Boishakhi TV, Tashnuba Anan Shishir, is another shining example of LGBT rights in Bangladesh. Hereby the question arises of legality of homosexuality and whether or not to remove Penal Code 1860 Section 377. Section 377 states, As this law enforcement prevents many LGBTQ plus rights in Bangladesh, many activists demanded cancellation or amendment of this law. But the point is, removal of this penal code wouldn't only legalize homosexuality or LGBTQ plus rights, rather it wouldn't state zoophilia or bestiality illegal and crime anymore. So such a heinous crime like bestiality cannot be legal in Bangladesh. Again, speaking of amendment in this penal code would be disavowing the Shariah, law of Islam. Bangladesh is the fourth largest Muslim country with almost 90.4% of the population following Islam. Homosexuality or any illicit sex relationship is highly condemned in Islam, as many Bangladeshi Muslims claim LGBTQ plus rights and same-sex marriage. I'll take the liberty to involve some Islamic views as to why Bangladesh government doesn't legalize same-sex marriage. Dating back to the time of Lut alayhis salam, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah were spontaneously involved in sodomy, which is an exemplary condemnation of homosexuality. Verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished these people, leaving the Dead Sea as a proof of their cursed activities. It is clearly stated in the Holy Quran, although many people claim that sodomy is not equal to homosexuality, so same-sex marriage should be quite permissible in Islam. But the truth above all is, any sexual activity out of the marriage of man and woman, even pre-marriage sex, is allegedly stated as kabira guna, greatest sin. So how do you think same-sex marriage will be acceptable to Allah in any way? We live in a complicated generation. Every day we have to face many challenges. So how to address if anyone comes out as LGBT or Q? What can be possibly done by us as Muslims, as human beings? Allah Ta'ala didn't prohibit us from loving someone, rather we ought to love as ideal human beings. Sharia doesn't judge on the acts and urges of the heart, so love has no gender, but sex does. If your friend comes to you and says that she's a gay from now, what would you do? Would you get her arrested, punished, killed in the name of jihad? Would you oust her from the locality where she lives and stop considering her a social being? No, that's against humanity. Islam, being a religion of peace, speaks against such atrocity. LGBTQ plus people will be treated as human beings. They'll be provided every right to lead a proper life, but they must refrain from engaging themselves in any sexual activity. Thus, we must pledge to spread awareness to normalize LGBTQ situation, especially in our country. We must put forth our hands in taking the oath of humanity and believing that LGBTQ plus are equally human beings. That's all everyone. Thanks for watching.